In today's video, I'm going to give you a thorough review of the Trading 212 platform, the things that I like and the things that I don't like as much. And I'm even going to give you a little demo of how to buy a share on the platform. Now, if you're a beginner or a new investor, this video is going to give you all the information that you need before you take the plunge with your hard-earned cash. Let's take a look. Hey, my name is Tom Morgan. Welcome back to the channel. This is That Finance Show. I am a fully qualified and regulated financial advisor and planner here in the UK. And I've been using Trading 212 on and off for the best part of a year now. So I've really got to grips with all of its features and what it can and can't do. Now let's start with a bit of a disclaimer. I'm actually a fully qualified and regulated financial advisor. However, for the purpose of today's video, I'm really coming at this from a consumer point of view, from you as the investor. I'm not looking to give you advice as to whether you should or shouldn't use Trading 212, but what I am going to try and do is give you all the information based on my expertise and my experience so that you can make an informed decision whether it's the right platform for you. Let's not hang around, let's begin. So Trading 212 have been around since around 2016, but it wasn't until 2017 where their zero commission trading really started to put them on the map. Today, they are the #1 downloaded app for investing on the App Store and claim to have over 1 million people with accounts. So why has it become so popular? Well, in the interest of trying to start off on a positive, let's take a look at the things that I do like. Now, before you consider investing with any platform, they really should tick 2 criteria. They should be regulated by the FCA and also be a member of the Financial Services Compensation Scheme. Now, I'm pleased to say that Trading 212 tick both these boxes, so no worries there. Essentially, you want the platform to be accountable to somebody higher than themselves, in this case, the FCA, the regulator, and also a degree of protection if they go bust, which is what the FSCS will do for you. If you are looking at any platforms or any investment service where it doesn't tick one of those boxes, do not touch it with a stick. Run a mile. As I say, Trading 212 tick both those boxes, so no problems there. The first thing I really like about the Trading 212 service is that you can invest from as little as £1. Now, as somebody who works in the wealth management sector and have done for many, many years, it's really nice to see the barrier of entry coming down. Very often in my world, people are dealing with huge sums and it perhaps puts off the ordinary investor getting started. Now, I really like to encourage people to consider investing. We did a video recently about why you shouldn't hold cash as a longer term investment, which I'll link to above here. So anything that can encourage people to invest and to consider investing and bring down the barriers, I think is a great thing. So being able to invest from as little as £1 is a big tick from me. Another thing that I really like about the Trading 212 offering is its main selling point: commission-free investing. When investing, keeping your fees down to a minimum is really important. If you've done loads and loads of research, picked yourself some stocks and got it right and done really, really well, only to lose a huge amount in fees and trading costs, that is no good. So this idea of commission-free investing, again, gets a big tick from me. It can only be a good thing so that you can keep more of the profit yourself. Now, another plus point which is worth mentioning is the app itself. I find the app to be pretty slick, easy to use and pretty intuitive. And what this does is 2 things for me. It increases accessibility and visibility, which I think are really, really great for encouraging people to develop good investor habits. Now, what I mean by this is it's really accessible, it's really easy to use. The easier to use, the better to encourage people to have a look and consider it as an option. And visibility, being able to go on, select an app at the touch of a button from your phone and see how your investments are performing, what the value is it up, is it down, and have all that information on hand, again, I think is a fantastic thing. I really think having this degree of visibility will really help engage more people that may have never really been that interested in investing. Also, Trading 212 offer an ISA wrapper for no extra cost. Now, this is a really great feature because if you're starting out investing and you haven't used your ISA allowance, in the current year of filming this video, we can invest £20,000 per individual into an ISA. And what that will do is any returns that you get, any profits that you make on the investments you hold inside that ISA wrapper, you avoid all the taxes that you might suffer elsewhere, capital gains tax, dividend tax, etc. So I would say if you're new to investing, not use your ISA, this is the first port of call, and it's great to see Trading 212 offering that wrapper for no extra cost. Another thing I really like is the fractional share investing, and in fact this was probably the thing that drew my attention to them all that time ago when I started having a look and using it. For many new investors, I think when you're getting into investing, you may want to look at the household names, companies that you're already familiar with. You know, somebody like, say, Amazon or Netflix. Well, if you want to buy a share in Amazon, it's going to set you back about $3,000, give or take, depending on where the share price is, and Netflix is about $500. So you may not have the kind of cash to actually buy even one share. Fractional shares with Trading 212 means that you can actually invest in a portion of a share. So you could actually invest as little as £1, $1 into Amazon, and you will own 0.00001 whatever percent of a share, which is still a really great way of accessing the stock that you wanted to for really, really small sums of money. Now, another thing I really like about the Trading 212 app, and I'm going to go into the app in a moment to actually show you, is all the information that they've actually put on hand on each particular holding for you when you're doing your research. So if I open up my app here, what you'll see is a list on this screen of different options that are available. We've got Tesla, Apple, Amazon, Facebook. This is on the My Watch List page. If I go into Tesla on the top there, you'll get a whole host of information. There's a graph there on screen showing you the recent performance, 1 day. If I go 1 week, 1 month, 3 months, etc., you've got all that information about past performance. If I scroll down, you'll get a little bit of blurb about the company themselves, so you can, do a little bit of reading on them. It'll give you a load more information, look about who the CEO is, and then interestingly, once you become a little bit more involved with the investing, it'll actually go through and give you all these financials, these key ratios, which may be jargon at first, but if you get really into it, could form a really valuable part of your research. I could go on and on there. Look, we've got income statements, balance statements, cash flow, etc. But you will get a lot of information on each stock without having to hunt around the internet itself. So again, I think from the point of view of trying to make sure you're doing your research properly and get you really engaged with investing, I think this is a great thing. One of the other great features about Trading 212 is that they'll give you access to ETFs, about 500 odd of them in fact. An ETF is something called an exchange traded fund, and essentially what they are for is giving you access to a wider range of assets. So if you aren't the kind of person that really wants to be holding just individual shares, or maybe even just for a portion of your portfolio you want to look at these, I think they're a really great option. So if I open up the app once more and show you this, if we are on the main screen there, look, you've got ETFs, so across the top all the different options you can look at. I'm in ETFs. The top one there, for example, Vanguard S&P 500 ETF. If I click on that, what that will give you if you invest in that particular fund, that will see your money invested in the 500 largest companies in the US that make up the S&P 500 index. So that immediately gives you access as an investor to diversification, which I am a great believer in, especially for a new beginner investor. In fact, we did a video on that topic very recently, which I'll link up above here. So these ETFs are a really valuable asset on the platform for anybody starting out with their investment. Another interesting feature, which is one of their more recent additions, is this auto invest, something they call the Pi feature. So if I go here on the bottom right hand corner where you can see the menu with a little blue dot underneath, if I go into there, you'll see on the top option there, Pi Library, which is a new feature. Now there's loads of information on here. There's already different portfolios look that you can see, but this is a really interesting new addition. The idea being that you can design and allocate your investments to a portfolio and a percentage into different stocks from the outset, and then reinvest very, very easily on an automatic basis for new funds and reinvestment. And this is a relatively new feature from Trading 212, but I think it's really good that you can see that they're constantly trying to come up with new ways of improving the service. Another good feature on the Trading 212 platform is the wealth of videos and tutorials that they've put together. Now, this is something very close to my heart as an advisor, on educating people, giving people all the tools and all the information, and it's really the whole reason, for example, I started this channel, so that you can become better investors and really understand what you're doing. So again, if I go into the app here, on that same menu on the bottom right hand side under where we went before, you'll see a tab for videos. If I go into videos, you'll see, look, a whole host of information that they've put together. Now, I've watched a lot of these, even from a place of somebody who knows what they're talking about, and I have to say they're really well put together. They explain things very well, and actually I would say that anybody that's starting out should come here and watch these videos. I mean, look, the 3 videos at the top you should start with: how to start investing, how to buy your first share, which I'm going to show you in a moment, and how to invest from just £1. And then you can get into a lot more in-depth videos. You've got right the way through to technical analysis for beginners. So I really like that. It's a lot of effort on Trading 212's part to try and put together some educational content. And again, another big tick from me. Trading 212 also offer the ability for you to use a Practise Account. And I remember when I first got this app, I used this a lot. This is the idea that you can play with fake money, but you can use the app in its entirety. You can place buys, sells, etc. And you can use all the features of the app, all the different accounts, but it is not real money. And again, alongside the tutorials, I think this is a great place to start while you get familiar and get confident with how the app works. I've read some horror stories of people, simply not knowing what they're doing from even a technology point of view, fumbling their way around the app, pressing things they shouldn't do, and it's actually not very many presses of the screen to buy stock. So I really recommend having a look at the Practise Account. And actually, I still run my Practise Account in the background along with my live account, and do dip into it from time to time if there's anything I'm unsure of on the app or anything I want to trial before doing it in the real environment. So again, all part of this educational piece and getting people to be better investors, giving you the tools to do that. I think that Practise Account is a brilliant idea. One final thing from me that I quite like about the platform is the free share link that Trading 212 offers. Now, I'll put a link in the description box below for my link, so if you want to grab yourself a free share and sign up to Trading 212, have a go on the platform, use my link in the description box below and you'll bag yourself a free share. It's randomly selected, up to the value of £100 or $100 or €100, depending on where you are. You don't have to hold it, you can sell it if it's not something that you want in the future, etc. But it's a great way of bolstering your portfolio. And once you've got an account, you can share your own link to friends and family, etc. So I really like that social element, the recommendation element. So be sure, if you're considering starting on Trading 212, go to the description box below, grab yourself that link, and why not grab yourself a free share to get yourself started. So those are the things that I like about the platform. I'm going to shut up about those now and stop sounding like somebody that works for Trading 212. I promise you that I don't, and this certainly isn't a sponsored video. So I think it's all really encouraging so far, but there are some things that I don't like quite as much. So in the interest of balance, let's take a look at those now. How do they make their money? They boast about commission-free investing, etc. everywhere that you look. So it does beg the question, where on earth do Trading 212 make their money? Now, being a financial services professional, I believe wholeheartedly in transparency when it comes to costs, and I think Trading 212 could perhaps do a little bit more to be transparent on where their money comes from. Why is this important? Well, look, there's no such thing as a free lunch. We all know that they must be making money somewhere. And so the key thing here is if you're looking to invest with a platform for many, many years, you want to make sure that they're financially secure and stable and profitable so that they're going to be around for many, many years to come. So I don't think there's anything wrong with them being transparent on where it is that they make their money. Now, I've looked into this, and quite frankly, what seems to be the case is that their Invest and ISA accounts are probably making a loss, and they're making all their money on the CFD account, which is something we'll come on to in a moment. They have also recently introduced some depositing fees, which they say are only to recoup card issuer costs and not making Trading 212 any money. More info on that in a moment too. And finally, they have been quoted before mentioning the idea that they will be releasing some premium content at some point in the future, which would be a paid for service, but we remain to see what that might be. So their CFD account, this might be a bit of a contentious one. I'm putting this in my downside category, which might be cause of some argument. Some people might think this is a huge plus, but for me, not so much. CFD trading is high risk investing. You're not actually buying the underlying asset, you're placing a bet on whether you think an asset is going to go up or down in value. And you can actually use leverage, which is where you borrow money from the brokerage in order to increase your position. We're actually putting a more detailed video on this together at the moment. But essentially it's high risk trading where the rewards can be amplified, but so can the losses. My criticism here is that this app is very much geared towards the beginner and the starter investor. And I feel a little bit that if they're using their invest and ISA accounts on a loss-making basis to sort of attract numbers in, and all their money is made really on the CFD side of the platform, are they really enticing people in with the simple option to try and sort of entice them into the CFD trading option, which I really think is certainly not for everybody. Now, in trading 212, around 76% of investors lose money on the CFD account, so it's clear that's where they make the lion's share of their money. Now, I'm not saying that CFD is all bad and no one should ever do it, but it is for experienced investors that really know what they're doing. And for the purposes of my channel, it's not really something that I would condone. It raises a little bit of a moral question mark for me, I guess is what I'm saying, on if that's where they make their money, obviously they're hoping that people go down that route, and the very nature of it being high risk, I'm not so sure how relevant that is for a beginner or a new investor. That being said, if you become an experienced investor after using it and you've really got to handles with it, you understand the risks and you want to use it for a little bit of play money, let's say, that you don't mind losing, then hey, fill your boots. Another bit of a downside, I feel, is the lack of cryptocurrency options, which I think may push some people, if you're looking for all the cryptocurrencies, would see people not perhaps look at trading 212. Perhaps a little bit of a contradiction, because again, cryptocurrencies are a high risk area. It's still a bit wild west. It's very volatile and certainly not for everybody. It's a relatively new asset class still, and I think there's plenty of people that are investing in that area that have absolutely no clue what they're doing. However, I do think it is an interesting opportunity. I think it's an asset class that's here to stay. And so I do wonder whether Trading 212 might try and venture into that world. It's encouraging to see they do offer a Bitcoin ETP, an exchange traded product. So although you can't invest in Bitcoin per se itself, you can still get access to that asset class via this fund route. So they have dipped their toe in, and I wonder what's more to come. Like any fintech company, anything that's based solely around technology, they have had the odd hitch along the way. Now, it would be pretty unfair to think that they would have been plain sailing the whole time with no technical issues. They have had the odd issue with execution delay, so people that are wanting to buy and sell via the app have had technical problems and not been able to do that, which could be frustrating if you were desperate to buy or sell a position and you missed the price, for example. And there have been delays in the past on paying out dividends. That being said, I've had a little bit more of a look into that, and it looks to be that actually it's some third-party people down the chain, and it was a problem that affected Trading 212 and others. So they're not really to blame. As I say, I just thought it was worth mentioning. Whenever you are dealing with something that's solely reliant on tech, that is always a feature. There are going to be bugs and moments of downtime, etc. On the whole, I think Trading 212 do pretty well with that, and they certainly haven't had what I would suggest is an unreasonable amount of technical difficulties and downtime, but worth a mention nonetheless. So the final thing I thought was worth mentioning that has happened recently are some recent policy changes at Trading 212. I alluded to something earlier about the deposit fees. So they have made a few changes recently. They messed with the leverage that's available on the CFD account, which no doubt would have annoyed some investors that were using that service. But more for me, the change on fees for depositing. So now, once you've deposited over £2,000 via debit or credit card, Trading 212 are going to charge you 0.7% on anything over that. Now, there is an easy way around that for UK investors via doing a direct bank transfer, but I've always funded my account via a debit card, so I find that a little bit frustrating. And it's not clear for investors in other parts of the world how they go about avoiding this fee. And also for anybody that's using the Auto Invest Pi feature, which I touched on earlier, that really is geared very much towards funding via card. And so this new rule may really affect investors on that side. Now, I've seen a comment from somebody via Trading 212 in their community forum that seems to suggest there is a solution for that on the way early 2021. So we'll watch this space and see whether they solve that. So that's it. That's really what I like and dislike about the platform. Now, what I thought we'd do is take you through an example. I'm going to go back onto the app now and show you just how easy it is to place a trade. So again, if I open up the app here, we come to the home screen. Now this is my Practise account, which as you can see on the top has a balance of over £57,000. If we have a look at the portfolio there, these are some shareholdings that I was messing around with when familiarizing myself with how the app worked. So I've got 10 shares of Amazon, Apple and Netflix. My Amazon and Netflix have done rather well, Apple not so much. So let's say that I wanted to place a new trade, just to show you how simple it is. If I go back and press on the home button bottom left there, this is showing me all the available assets that are on the platform that I might like to buy. There are some tabs across the top winners, top losers, popular, US stocks, etc. I'm going to go into UK stocks to have a look at what I might like to buy there. And just for the purpose of the example, I've done no research or any thoughts on this, so don't read too much into it. But let's just choose BP PLC, the fuel and oil giant. So we click on buy there on the top. Now we can tell it the number of shares we'd like to buy, or we can input via value how much we want to buy in pounds and pence. Let's say I wanted to buy 50 shares, for example. I put 50 there and it shows me how much that's going to cost. If I go to review order, there is my order sheet, BP, market buy, 50 shares. It's going to take £149.55 out my portfolio to purchase those 50 shares. There's no commission, and I am going to pay 74p in stamp duty reserve tax. I do send by order, and that's that. You can see that down in the pending orders there, buy 50 market. And that really is as simple as it is. If I go back to my portfolio here, look, order executed. So that's gone through and it shows me I've bought 50 BP shares at 297.60. So that's done, that purchase has all been executed, and that's because the market is open at the moment as I've done that. If the market was closed, that would go into your pending orders until the market reopened. And there it is, BP sat in my portfolio there among my other shares, and hey look, we've already made 5p. So that's as easy as it is. Selling is very much the same. It's just as easy. You go into the shareholding that you've got and you hit sell, etc. So as I touched on earlier, the app is very, very intuitive and easy to use, and I feel that really helps any beginner investors get involved in investing. So what's my summary on this video? As I said, I'm not giving you any advice. This is certainly not advice on whether to open up an account with Trading 212 or not, or whether to invest or not. I don't know your circumstances. I can't possibly tell you what I think. On balance, I think there's far more good than there is bad on Trading 212. I think it's a good service, and I'm going to continue to use it for my direct shareholding. I do other things elsewhere for other reasons, but as far as direct shares are concerned, I do like Trading 212, and that's where I hold a handful of shares. Are they perfect? No, but who is? And I think they're on, generally speaking, the right track. And as I say, if you're a beginner or new to investing, I think it's a really good place to start. If I were you, I would start by watching their videos. They've also got a fantastic YouTube channel with a whole host of videos on all sorts of topics. I would open up an account, use my link in the description below, get yourself a free share, watch their videos, educate yourself, and then start using the Practice Account feature as a first port of call, and start placing some trades, and do that for a month or two and see how that plays out. Thanks ever so much for watching. Again, I've been Tom Morgan. This is That Finance Show. Please, if you've enjoyed this video, consider subscribing to the channel. Give that like button a click. It takes 2 seconds of your time. If you do subscribe to the channel, drop me a comment in the box below just to say I've subscribed. I'm on a bit of a mission to say thank you for everybody that subscribes to this channel. We put content out every single week on different topics all about personal finance and investing and generally getting better with your money. Thanks again for your time today. I hope that was useful. Remember, money doesn't buy you happiness, but a lack of it will make you miserable. Cheers for now.